Hey everybody, welcome in to The Dish on NESN.com. I'm your host, Michaela Vernava. We got some great stuff in store for you. We'll be talking a little bit about the Dodgers' recent surge, MLB Midseason Awards, and we'll have some fantasy advice with the top 3 pickups of the week. So let's get going. Look who joined me.
Oh, hello.
It's Ricky Doyle.
That's me.
The #1 analyst, baseball
Is that
analyst
so?
on NESN.com.
I'd love to know who's making these rankings.
On NESN.com.
Wow.
So it's a small pool, but very knowledgeable nonetheless. So Ricky, Dodgers absolutely rolling right now. Are they the best team in baseball?
I would say yeah right now. And I say this as somebody who's been very high on the Houston Astros all season, since before the season actually. But the Dodgers is the most well-rounded team. That offense looking good. I don't think anybody really expected Cody Bellinger to be this good, but got him swinging a good bat. Got Yasiel Puig and Jock Peterson also swinging the bats well. The offense has been sick. Then obviously you get one of the best pitchers on the planet, Clayton Kershaw, leading that rotation. Rotation that they kind of mixing and matching a bit. So right now, good defensively as well. Most well-rounded team, sure. Yeah, I'd give them the nod right now. So
you mentioned the Astros. You didn't hear you mention the defending World Series champion Chicago Cubs. That might be because they're hovering around 500. Do you think they'll pick it up? Yeah,
they've been underwhelming to begin the season. I mean, they're not bad. They're kind of just the middle of the pack offensively. Their pitching rotation especially has regressed. It includes John Lester and Jake Arrieta. Not the seasons that you probably expected them to have. It's a little bit of a World Series hangover. But, hey, sometimes it takes you a little bit to get out of bed after a nice championship celebration. So I think they'll figure it out, mostly because that division stinks. But they do. They have some flaws they got to work out. So I expect them to be there in October, but right now it's kind of a little dicey in Chicago.
Well, they were on the losing end of Giancarlo Stanton's 20th home run over the weekend. He has announced that he will defend his home run derby crown. What do you think? Think anyone's going to give him any legit competition, or is he taking it home again?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think this year has the potential to be a really good home run derby. I mean, obviously, Aaron Judge is the one guy that everybody wants to see in there, understandably so. He's got the numbers, he's got the size, a lot of comparisons to Stanton coming up through the Yankee system. So I think he could knock him off if he's in it. We don't know who's in it yet. I also look at across the league, maybe Bellinger, as I mentioned with the Dodgers, maybe he jumps in there. But another sleeper pick who wants to be in it, Joey Votto from the Cincinnati Reds. Guy not really known for his immense power numbers, but he's just a really good hitter. And I feel at times that he can do whatever he wants when he's in the box. So I'd like to see what he could do if given the opportunity to swing for the fences.
All right, well, we will see. But for now, send it off to Fantasyland. Darren Hartwell has some advice for you.
Welcome back to Fantasyland. I'm Darren Hartwell, and you guys know the drill by now. We're going to check out 3 players owned in less than 50% of Yahoo leagues who are worth targeting on the waiver wire. Let's fire it up. First guy I like this week is Rays catcher Wilson Ramos. Ramos literally won the Silver Slugger Award last year as the NL's best hitting catcher, but he's still unowned in a lot of leagues because he started the season on the DL. He's back now, though, and even if he doesn't match those 2016 numbers, anything close would be very solid at the catcher position. Next on the list is White Sox pitcher Carlos Rodon, another guy coming off the DL with a lot to prove. Rodon is making his long-awaited season debut against the Yankees on Wednesday, and the hope is that he can live up to the hype that made him the 3rd overall pick in the 2014 draft. He's a little bit of a risk, but there's tons of upside there. Speaking of upside, the last pickup I like has that in spades, and that's A's shortstop Franklin Barreto. He might not be the next Cody Bellinger, but he has a really high ceiling, and he plays at a premium position that's tough to find good offense. So why not roll the dice a little bit? All right, we're out of time in Fantasyland, so let's toss it back up to Michaela and Cam to get the latest on the Red Sox.
Joined now by Cam McDonough, here to check up on the Red Sox, our hometown team. And what a weekend, David Ortiz's number being retired. You were there. What was your favorite part of the ceremony?
Yeah, it was a pretty special ceremony. They had before the game on Friday, they had him there. They had a lot of Red Sox legends there as well. I think a couple of things that stood out to me was during his speech when he said that when he was a player, he used to dream of being able to hit a ball during batting practice and hit those retired numbers out in right field. He said he actually did it once, that he hit the number 1, Bobby Doerr's number 1. And now for him to be up there, it was a cool story that he told, and you could tell it was a really special moment for him.
Now looking at the guys that are out there this year playing, veterans were just added. Doug Fister, who had a solid debut against the Angels 2 days after leaving them, and then Johnny Peralta, who is headed to Pawtucket. What do you think of these additions?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Doug Fister, you saw he had a pretty solid first start. The problem for him, it looks like he's going to at least get one more start, but Eduardo Rodriguez also is looking like he might be ready to come back soon. He has a rehab start on Thursday, and if all goes well, it could be pretty shortly when you see him back up in the major leagues. So if that happens, then where is there room for Fister? And then in terms of Peralta, I think they signed him. He's worth the risk, essentially. I mean, they've had a lot of problems at third base this year with Pablo Sandoval and all the people that they've tried to plug in there as well. So I think it's worth the risk. He's going to go down to the minors first and see how it goes. You may never see him up in the majors. It depends on how it's going to go there in the minor leagues. But if it does, it can't hurt to try.
All right, well, looking ahead a bit, or first looking back, last year the Red Sox had 4 all-star starters voted in: Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Big Papi. Doesn't look like that's going to happen this time. But that said, which players, do you think there are any players that should find their way into the game? Yeah,
I mean, last year it sort of felt like the Red Sox were playing the All-Star game. There were so many of them there. But for this year, I think it's going to be a little different. They just had an updated vote tally that was released yesterday, and it looks, barring some late surge, it looks like there's not going to be any Red Sox voted in for the positional starters for the American League. But the thing is when it comes to pitchers, the Red Sox will definitely have 2 pitchers, Chris Sale and Craig Kimbrell. I mean, 2 of the best pitchers in baseball this season.
Let's see if our analysts Mike Cole and Ricky Doyle think that any Red Sox are deserving of MLB Midseason Awards. Let's send it to them right now.
Thanks, guys. All right, Mike. We sat here a couple months ago, made some preseason predictions who was going to win MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Cy Young. In some cases, we're doing okay, but in other cases, not so hot. So let's look back on those picks, make our picks for Midseason Awards. I want to start off with MVP in the American League. I had Carlos Correa. You had Mike Trout. Trout is having a great year.
Trout was a great pick.
Up until his injury. Carlos Correa also having a great year. Who's your midseason pick right now, both the AL and the NL?
My midseason pick in the AL, I think it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go with Aaron Judge. I think he's been the best player in baseball, and the Fangraphs wins above replacement would back that up. 4.8 wins above replacement is the best in all of baseball. 26 home runs, 59 RBI. At the time of this little activity, probably going to be better by the time people hear this. A Triple Crown candidate. He's done it all. He's a big reason the Yankees are in first place or thereabouts.
Yeah, I think we're going to see eye to eye on a lot of these things, and I agree with you with Judge. I just think he's been a game changer, immense power, seeing his potential. I think he's going to go to a point where maybe pitchers figure him out a little bit, and he's going to have to make the necessary adjustments. But so far, so good. In the National League, I know I like Paul Goldschmidt. I know you do.
I do too. Most underrated player in baseball.
I agree. Over the last few years.
Yeah. Just a great offensive weapon.
So let's move right along. Rookie of the Year. Obviously, that's going to be Judge, given the fact that we just gave him the MVP. So I don't think we need to spend too much time on that. Coming into the season, I had Andrew Benintendi in the AL. You had Judge. You knocked that out of the park.
That was a good one.
NL, though, swing by me. Tyler Glass now of the Pittsburgh Pirates is my pick. You went with Dansby Swanson, neither of whom are probably going to be the Rookie of the Year this year unless they turn it on. So who do you like in that regard?
It's going to be Cody Bellinger of the Dodgers. The guy is just raking at the plate, hitting a ton of home runs, leading the world in home runs, or at least the world that is the National League.
Yeah.
He's just a great player and a good team. So
we like Goldschmidt for MVP, but he's another one that could sneak in there because of how much of an impact he's made for the Dodgers so far. But I like him for Rookie of the Year. Finally, Cy Young going into the year. AL, I had Yu Darvish. NL, I had Noah Syndergaard.
Whoops.
Who his season got cut relatively short. See if he comes back. Mike, you had Chris Sale. Nailed it. Clayton Kershaw. He's up there. We'll see what he does in the second half. But what do you like in the AL? Sale probably.
I thought about taking Craig Kimbrell, which is a little bit of a outside the box pick, because I just like that bullpen isn't very good despite what the numbers say, and I think a big reason for that is Kimbrell. But I'm going to stick with Sale, be a little bit of a homer. I think just that all the numbers across the board point to Sale. He's not as good as he was his first 10 starts, but he's still very good, still the best pitcher in baseball in my eyes. National League, I like Scherzer. I think he's a threat to throw a no-hitter every time he takes the mound. It's incredible. He's just a bulldog. The wins and loss, not very good. He's 8-5 as of right now, but I think he's a guy who's just been the best pitcher in the National League.
I agree with you on both, and I just love Scherzer. And the fact that we're finally seeing a guy sign a huge contract, particularly a pitcher, and live up to the hype. I think it's pretty amazing that we're seeing that. And as you mentioned, a bulldog. Imagine having him and Sale in the same rotation. Maybe the Red Sox should explore that a little more intently a few off seasons ago.
No
but all right, good to see we see eye to eye here. A lot of easy picks. We'll see how it shakes out. And I don't know. We'll come back and we'll revisit this in October. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Joined now by Darren Hartwell, and we are going to get into some MLB Power Rankings. Let's start in the American League. Who are the top 3 teams?
Yeah, top 3 guys I like, Astros, Indians, and Yankees. Those are the 3 teams right now. I think the Astros are kind of a cut above. I think they're the best team in baseball right now. Have some injuries to that rotation, but this team still can really hit once those guys come back in the rotation, guys like Dallas Keuchel, Lance McCullers. They can make some serious noise.
All right. Well, how about the National League?
I like the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Nationals 1, 2, 3. The Dodgers really establishing themselves as the best team in the National League. They were on a 9-game winning streak. Guys like Cody Bellinger really coming into his own. I think with that young core, this is a team that could be good for a long time.
Well, are there any teams that may have started off slow, but you can see picking it up in the second half of the season?
Yeah, I like the Seattle Mariners. I'm not sleeping on Seattle. I think
see what you did there.
Yeah, I think this team has a little inconsistency on the mound. They can hit, and they're also getting Felix Hernandez back in the second half of the season here. So once that offense kind of continues to produce and they get that rotation a little more solidified, I don't think they're going to challenge the Astros for the AL West title, but they could certainly sneak into that wild card spot.
Well, which division race are you most looking forward to keeping an eye on as we get into the second half?
It's certainly not the AL West. That's probably one of the most lopsided division races, but I'm going to go with the NL West. Like I mentioned, the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks both playing very well, and the Rockies were playing really well until they kind of cooled off a little bit, but I think you have 3 teams who all could potentially make the playoffs. Dodgers looking like the division leader right now, but the Diamondbacks and Rockies both could push for those 2 wild card spots and maybe challenge them for the division crown.
Who doesn't love to watch some good old tough competition? Well, that will do it for this episode of The Dish. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to keep it on NESN.com for all your MLB news.